Great. Okay, so we're here with the Diana Initiative to talk about our sponsorship opportunities for 2025. I'm Heather Vessant. I'm on the board and I am taking on a sponsorship lead. It is April, and we are looking to raise $80,000 by the end of the year in order to support our initiatives, our event initiatives. On the call today, I have Nicole Schwartz and Rex Johnson. And together, the three of us are going to kind of give you an overview of what the Diana Initiative is, what it's like to be a sponsor, and what sponsorship opportunities we have for 2025. If you are watching this video and you decide that you are like, yes, I want to be a sponsor, you can see down here there's an email, sponsors@dianainitiative.org. And just shoot us an email and we'll be in touch and follow up with this information. Okay, so I would like to introduce Nicole Schwartz. Nicole has been involved with Diana Initiative for a long time. Nicole, do you want to give a little bit of a intro of yourself and maybe talk a little bit about the Diana Initiative?
Sure. So two of my friends were basically getting together as women at DEF CON, having lunch together, and we're kind of wondering, like, hey, where can we get more supports and talk about, our experience of being underrepresented people in cybersecurity with others? Because at the time, this was multiple years ago, there was things like for red teamers and blue teamers and everything, but there wasn't a lot of things based on your identity other than like QueerCon, which, by the way, great group of people. So you can definitely check them out at our events and at DEF CON. But they got together and decided they were going to fix the problem. So they did start an event that happened at DEF CON, and it grew very large. And I started to come in and help with that because the bigger you get, the more people it takes to organize, until we got too big and we just could not fit in suites at the DEF CON hotels anymore, which is a great problem to have. But that does mean that suddenly you now need to find your own space, which comes with, okay, well, now that we have more space, what do we do with it? So we went from just having networking opportunities and talks and gatherings to being a full-on conference, which has been a really interesting progression over the past few years. And over that course of time, I kind of went from just helping be the project manager all the way up to now being chair of the board. So I've gotten to see all the different elements of Diana Initiative as we've grown from, small suite parties up to our own event.
Nicole, when was Diana Initiative started?
2015 was when the idea started, and then 2016 was the first event.
Great, great. Rex, did you want to kind of share any experience that you had finding the Diana Initiative?
Well, I actually learned about them because I was attending Gula Tech had given away some grants to to several organizations, especially those that support neurodiversity. And I attended that event at RSA, knowing Ron and Cindy Gula. And I saw the Diana Initiative and heard about their mission. I thought, this sounds really cool. So I invited Nicole to a cigar bar event we did that week. She came and talked a little bit about what it was, and I told her I'd be interested in helping out. And I've been a volunteer staff since, and then this last year I got selected to be part of the board. So I've been working with the organization for about 2 years, and what I really enjoy about it is the focus on bringing folks who are typically not reached out to for jobs in cybersecurity and IT. And I had my own personal mission within my company to go after the neurodivergent people because they're very good at cybersecurity. They're very good at data analysis. They're very good at these tasks that other people might find mind-numbing, and they're exceptional at it. So it seemed to be a natural connection for me to be involved with Diana as well as what I'm doing with my work and my own mission to help neurodiversity.
Oh, that's awesome. Listening to your guys' stories reminds me how I came across the Diana Initiative, um, which I don't particularly come from a cybersecurity background. I come from more of a tech background, but I'm also a futurist. So I have a master's of science in strategic foresight. And um, somehow I was like doing a project where I had to like put all of this cybersecurity training in it. And I did this huge deep dive, and I think I watched like years and years of DEF CON videos, and I was like, oh my God, these people are great. And I remembered like early in my career, I started in like IT and networking, and then like totally forgot about that. And kind of as I looped back into getting into cybersecurity, I did this project with a friend of mine where we kind of like mashed up security and foresight stuff to try to understand and anticipate future threats. And in my experience as a futurist, like everyone sees and tunes into different aspects of what's going on in the world. That's why you need like diversity. You need people who see that little thing or that little thing or that little thing, because we all have blind spots. But together, if we listen to each other and we respect each other's perspectives and worldviews, then we can not have blind spots. And so that's really why I thought how I got drawn into Diane Initiative, because there aren't very many cybersecurity um, events that feel really welcoming to people from various diverse backgrounds. It doesn't even have to be gender diversity, it can be neurodiversity. And sometimes when you're new or you're kind of like an outsider to cybersecurity, it can feel a little intimidating to like show up at DEF CON or something. Because there's a lot of kind of energy that might not feel very welcoming if you don't know people there. So
Which
I think
actually
that
gives me a really good opportunity to kind of slip in here that this year, not only will we have our event at the University of Las Vegas, we are going to have a space at DEF CON. So you can find us either on Monday or on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whichever one you're in town for. And, you know, a lot of people see Diana Initiative and they're like, who's welcome? Everyone is welcome at our events and in our space. We are just going to cater to, for example, we have the quiet room at DEF CON this year. So we're catering to people who are neurodivergent or who need to like connect with some people that are similar to them. So everyone come hang out, but if you need to just relax because DEF CON can be super overwhelming, come hang out in the quiet area. And then we're going to have like a reference librarian style desk where the info booth at DEF CON is amazing, but sometimes you don't know what you need. You're a little bit overwhelmed. We're going to help you kind of walk through that and be like, okay, what do you want to get out of DEF CON, and walk you through that tree so you can find the thing that excites you and you can connect with at DEF CON.
that's awesome. I didn't realize you guys had like the kind of curated uh space at DEF CON where you could come and be in a friendly kind of more relaxed space when because yeah, DEF CON's awesome, but it can be a little bit overwhelming. And Las Vegas itself is its own level of like stimulation. So okay, let's talk a little bit about the event. Nicole, you had mentioned that we're going to have a presence at DEF CON, so we'll be there. But we're also doing our own event. Do you want to talk a little bit about the event and some of the logistics that we have here?
Sure. We are trying out University of Las Vegas this year, their student center. We've taken over the whole second floor. Previously, we had been at a hotel conference center, but we're going to give this one, it's a slightly different layout, but we're hoping it works out a little bit better for us. We're going to have 3 tracks of speaking. We're going to have our Capture the Flag event. We are going to have our crafting and making room, learn to solder just like we usually do. Everyone always loves that. Noob Village is actually going to be coming and taking over one of the rooms. If you haven't heard of them, they're for people who are brand new and kind of don't know where they want to go in information security. So they're going to be doing support for that. We've got our Career Village, and that is for one-on-one resume reviews, as well as there's going to be some career-based lightning talks. And so that's like a curated track just for finding out about ways to apply for jobs, especially in this market with all the ghost jobs and everything, and just get advice around different parts of getting a promotion, things like that. We've also got Adversary Village, who's going to be popping in. They are a great group of folks. They've got some hands-on activities. So if you want to learn some red teaming in a game type format, they're the room you want to go to. So there's a lot going on, and it's a much smaller environment. So if you're kind of wanting to ease your way into Hacker Summer Camp Week, we are definitely the way to do that.
And Nicole, what's the cost for someone to attend our one-day event?
It varies. If you're a student, it can be as low as $15, and then it can go all the way up to like $100, depending, what you're trying to add on. I think there might be a $150 ticket if you're getting the DIY badge kit included. So there's a range depending on if you want to include the electronics kit or not, and if you're, a student or a veteran, because we give discounts for that.
Great, great. So if you're a student, $15. Maximum amount you're looking at would maybe be 100, probably somewhere in the middle.
And it does include lunch. I think we are literally signing that contract today. And so, like, where else are you going to get lunch for $15 on the Las Vegas Strip?
Wow, that's awesome. It's like everything I used to do is like show up and make a lot of new friends and have fun. Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about getting involved. So the Diana Initiative has a couple ways that you can be involved. I'm here specifically asking those of you who are watching that financial sponsorship really goes a long way. We actually are a pretty scrappy organization for what we support. And so we're definitely looking for some more financial sponsors for this year. There are other ways you can get involved as well. We can have in-kind sponsorships. I know some other organizations support us by donating tickets to their events. And then we like to also try to raise some funding for scholarships to enable folks to attend those and at least like help out with some of their costs to travel to and stay at those conferences. And then we also are great with having volunteers. So you can both provide financial support, but you can also like show up and meet people and share your knowledge. And I know I'm kind of later in my career, so wow, do I love sharing information with some of the younger and newer generation on how to overcome or navigate some of the challenges in cybersecurity or in a career. So those are kind of some of the ways we can have you be involved. And you've heard from both Nicole and Rex a bit about the organization. So while we are kind of a enclosed, smaller community, we still have a big community. We're expecting about 400 folks to the event. So you will get some brand recognition both at the event and then before in social media and after social media. It is a way to tie into some corporate responsibility. We do support all kinds of diversity. It's not just like gender or age and neurodiversity. It's all kinds of diversity that we want to support because everyone comes to the table with their own unique perspectives about things, and us understanding that helps us create better products. I loved how Rex was saying folks with certain types of brains really get jazzed about solving certain types of problems that other people might be like, no, thank you, please. If you are looking to recruit folks to your roles, this is a great place to get to know folks and meet people in person.
Also, all of our sponsors, we have a monthly jobs newsletter. So if you are a sponsor, you can send out your jobs to our mailing list of everyone in our community who's interested in those jobs. So even before the event and after the event, you have access to our community. And of course, we'd love you to come and recruit at our event. We don't have private one-on-one space. We're not that big, unlike, events like Grace Hopper, but we've definitely had people come chat with our attendees, and then afterwards, if they had a suite or whatever, they could do interviews there.
Great. And as a sponsor, you do get tickets to the events with a sponsor table. And at this point, I'd love to let Rex kind of chime in and talk about his experience of being a sponsor, why he decided to sponsor, and what benefits him and his organization get from sponsoring Diana.
Well, I appreciate that. So I'm with an organization called CAI, Computer Aid Inc., but we just go by the abbreviations now or the initials now, like a lot of firms have done. But CAI has been around for well over 40 years as an IT staffing and solutions company. We have opportunities all the time. And we actually have our own site for careers that people can go to. And I've shared that with the Diana folks who were looking for opportunities. But one of the things that made sense about us sponsoring the event last year is we knew there would be a lot of folks who would come to this and could be candidates for opportunities we have. It also supports the wider social responsibility that CAI has in helping out on a number of causes. Even though they are traditionally, they're located up in the Allentown, Pennsylvania area, there is a lot of philanthropy and efforts that are done by the family that owns the company, and they've actually done things like sponsor their own K through 12 school there in that area in Pennsylvania, and do a lot of other outreach. So Diana was a natural thing to be involved in. So we sponsored last year. We were involved and had a chance to help out with the event. This year we upped our sponsorship to the next level so that we could have a little bit more visibility with the organization and work with them. But what I've found is it's a great way to stay tied into the community. It's a great way to continue to my corporate's vision's larger focus of providing great effort to help others throughout the industry. And what I've also seen is with other sponsors is they get a lot of value out of seeing a pool of candidates that they may not have thought about going after. And they get a chance to see there's some people here that would be really good at the jobs they have. And it's a great opportunity to, one, get great employees, but at the same time, help people who are looking for those jobs that may not quite know how to get there or may not have had the opportunity to hear about them before. So it creates a lot of benefits.
Great. Thanks, Rex. And yeah, it's so great to have you back this year, increasing your sponsorship level and having you on the board with me and Nicole and being involved. So let's talk about how you can get involved as an event sponsor. So we've got several levels here you can see on our chart. And we've already sold out of our platinum level, and we've got Meta and who else was it, Nicole? We said at the beginning.
It's Meta and Google are our platinum sponsors this year.
Oh, great. So if you sponsor Diana, then you're going to be in line with Google and Meta. So our platinum is sold out, but we do have gold, which starts at 9K. We've got 4 of those available. Rainbow is our next level at 4K. Silver is at 3K, and then bronze is at 2K. Do we have another level at 1500? Or is that one of the other specific?
I think that's one of, like, if you want to sponsor the full lunch.
Got
So
it.
there's a whole bunch of things on the next few slides that are just things that we're doing. And so if you want to specifically sponsor them, you can get your name on it. Otherwise, we scrounge up the money in bits and pieces from other places. For example, all of our bronze sponsors collectively together, but then they don't get their logo on the lunch table. And who doesn't love free lunch? So buy your way into everyone's hearts.
Yeah, so that's just so you can actually you can double up, right? You could be an event sponsor and then one of the specific like lunch sponsors too, right, Nicole?
Yep.
Okay, so here we've got this is for the event sponsorships. So if you want to come in at one of these levels, you get tickets, you get visibility,
You end
get
up on the t-shirt on certain levels, and the t-shirt is on all of our volunteers who are running around the event. And if you do the gold, you can get a sponsor table. We have way fewer sponsor tables this year because it is a little bit of a smaller hallway space. So you will get maximum chat time with everybody.
Great. And just to kind of give you guys an update on it, it takes about 120K for us to run this event. And we've already successfully raised about 40K of this. And so we're looking to raise another 80K. And my personal goal is to raise this by August, which is another couple of months. And what this does is this supports our ability to run the event for the next year. So we are looking for sponsors for this year. You will be a sponsor for this year. So we invite you to think about joining us at one of these levels. Now, if you can't come in at one of these levels, as Nicole mentioned, we have specific activity sponsorship. And there's kind of like a lot of different things here that we can talk about. I'm going to just kind of go through some of these, but then I'd love for us to talk a little bit about the electronic badge because we were talking about that right before we started. So, if you want to sponsor our electronic badge, which is like this cool badge, the badge kit that folks can get when they attend, then that's going to be 4K. And we really love to have a great sponsor for that. And what happens is your logo gets on this electronic badge, and it's just really cool. Folks put them together, and there's definitely the opportunity for Instagram photos or social media photos, a lot of promo for that. So I really want to kind of like invite folks to consider sponsoring for the electronic badge. And you can double up with that if you were one of the other sponsors, like for the event overall, and you wanted to do the electronic badge, you could do both. We also have a village sponsor. If you want to
Those are
sponsor,
half sold out. So right now, the only villages left are Maker Village, the Quiet area, and the Noob Village are the ones that have sponsorship spots left. Career Village is already gone, Adversary Village is gone, and the CTF is gone.
got it, great. Workshop sponsor. Do you want to talk a little bit about that one, Nicole?
So sometimes we get talks that would be better as a workshop than a talk, and we had a couple of them this year, but oftentimes there's a problem with that in that to turn it into a workshop, they might need more materials or the students might need some materials. And so we really kind of need a sponsor to make that shift happen. We definitely have a couple that have been submitted so far that look interesting. If we don't get a workshop sponsor probably fairly soon, we may end up not turning them into workshops and keeping them into talks. But we would prefer to have a diversity of learning opportunities. Some people learn better by doing, some people learn better by reading, some people learn better by listening. So we would like to have the variety there if possible.
Great. And we've got track sponsor. You said before we're going to have 3 tracks. So are we looking for 3 track sponsors? I see 4 on here.
Yeah, there's a possibility we could add a 4th track, depending. So I put the maximum on there. But yeah, we record the talks. We've partnered with Confreaks this year as our vendor, and those are then going to be going up on YouTube. If you are the track sponsor, your logo, along with, of course, the platinum sponsors and everything, will be going onto those videos for all eternity. So.
Great. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So track sponsor, not only do you get the promo at the event, you get the benefit of the promo of the tracks that you sponsor in YouTube like forever. Great. Okay. Food sponsor. Is this the lunch sponsor?
Well, we've got a bunch of them because collectively the entire package of food is like, $30 to $1,000 or so. And so we can do a mix of people. But right now we are just doing lunch. But if we were, say, to get all of the food sponsor slots filled, we would add breakfast and we could add afternoon snacks. And we could even add mid-morning snacks. Like the vendor there has a lot of options. They're like, oh, do you want to do like fruit in the morning? You want to do candy bars in the afternoon and whatever. So we can add a ton of food options. But right now we're just doing the lunch. So if we get, 2 food sponsors, you guys will be on the 2 food tables at lunch.
Nicole, are we also looking for a sponsor for the neurodiversity dinner on Monday night?
Yep, that would be the party sponsor.
Ah,
So if they would like to pay 5K, we've got a couple slots there. We can have you at the dinner that we've got. That's going to be all of our neurodivergent folks. Last year, I think we had a really good turnout. We pretty much filled the room. I think we had where everyone came in, they got to have dinner, and then there was just plenty of time afterwards for everyone to compare just their experience of being neurodivergent in cybersecurity. And I know our table was comparing like different ways that they, handle accommodations at work or different things that they use, on their desk, like fidget toys and things, as I bring out my little fidget dragon. So everybody was saying, I use this and I use that. And so it was a really fun experience. And we gathered some of those together and put them on our website for other people to be able to access after. So yes, we would love you to sponsor our party. Everyone gets fed and has a great time. And you can show up, obviously, to the party if you sponsor it.
And when you sponsor our food and the party and the dinner, we've got your logos and we say lots of thank yous. And so folks know that the food and the party is sponsored by you. So it's really good visibility, especially if you continue to attend the rest of the event. And then here we've got the bus sponsor. We're going to be at University of Las Vegas. So tell me about
Which
the
you have
bus
to pay
sponsor.
for parking, and it's complicated, and you can only park in certain lots. So right now, this is a wish list item. If someone sponsors the bus, we will stick your logo on the bus. If you've ever seen like the Black Hat buses or whatever, you see that there's sponsor logos on them. And the bus, we will take a list of like the popular hotels of our attendees, and we'll have it just do a loop with the, hotels and UNLV and just keep circling all day. So if you would like to sponsor the bus, that would be awesome. Otherwise, everyone is just going to be using, taxis or ride shares. So if you want that opportunity, it's there.
Great. Okay, great. I think this is a really great recap of it. I'll just recap again for folks watching. You can sponsor the event at gold, rainbow, silver, or bronze level. And then we have specific activity sponsorships that we just kind of went through, like the electronic badge and the village sponsor and the workshop, track, food, party, and the bus. So those are two ways that you can support the organization and the event. And then here we have more sponsorships for year-round sponsorships. So, Nicole, you had mentioned we're going to be at DEF CON, and we're going to have a space there. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? And do we already have someone covering this year?
We do not have a sponsor for DEF CON yet, but hopefully I'm not giving away anything super secret right now. But last year we got lemonade and cookies and it cost us $500 because it's a conference center. That is not unusual for anyone who has, never done conference center stuff. And so for us to be able to maybe have some snacks at our meetup or other things, it comes with a cost. Overall, our rooms are not going to have a lot of physical stuff. We're going to bring stuff from the quiet room at our event to the quiet room at DEF CON. We may buy a couple extra things, but it shouldn't be very expensive. Fingers crossed, but we know that we are going to have a few costs associated. So we would love to have somebody help fund that. And, everyone will see your logo when they're coming to hang out with us at DEF CON.
Yep, definitely. That's great if you want more visibility at DEF CON. And then we also have these scholarships. Is this these scholarships that support the like RSA and Black Hat, Nicole?
Yep. And so we try and give 1,000. It certainly doesn't cover everything, but for a student that will help a lot, especially if they can find a roommate for hotels. We're going to be at RSA in a couple weeks. And we were able to raise $300 per scholarship awardee. We weren't able to get the full 1K per, but our goal is to do 1K per person that we're able to give things to. We at Hacker Summer Camp, we ideally would like to get 10 people attending Black Hat and 10 people attending DEF CON. So again, we need to raise some money there to help them offset hotels and everything. We also do MWise, which is over in Denver. And so we'd like to raise for that. So just all the events that we get tickets donated to that we are like, hey, this is going to be a friendly event for our people and they're going to be able to have a really good time. We want to be able to help them offset the costs.
That's great. So just to kind of like confirm how we organize these things. So we have relationships with like RSA and Black Hat and DEF CON and NWISE, and those organizations give us tickets, like anywhere from like a handful to maybe like 10 tickets. And then we give those to folks in our organization. But then the scholarship helps for those folks to be able to cover their travel or their hotel. So it just kind of like lowers the bar for them to be able to kind of like attend and immerse themselves in one of these other types of events where they can kind of like see professionals who are in the space and hear some of the talks that are just really important at that time. So it does say the scholarship cost is 1K. We like that 1K per person. So we're actually trying to raise something like 20 or 25K for all of the sponsorship attendees of these different events. And then let's talk about TDI at other events. Where
We would
else?
love to show up at, we've been at B-Sides New York City. We have tried to attend B-Sides Charm, B-Sides Philly, all, places all over. We obviously try and find volunteers who are within driving distance to those events to minimize costs, but that's still potentially them having to drive or take a train and do parking. So where possible, we want to be able to buy stickers. We want to be able to buy pins. We want to be able to buy them their train ticket or their parking. And so for us to send like 2 or 4 volunteers to another event, we need about probably 2K per event to just, buy those business cards, buy those stickers, pay for parking and trains and everything.
That's great. And then we have also mentorship.
So
How does this work?
this one's a little bit interesting. So if we get people who have never done a talk before, or they've never done, they're new, they haven't had a chance, we actually pair them with mentors. But a lot of times, if you are in a position where you need to be paired with a mentor to learn how to give a talk or whatever, your company may not be covering you to attend DEF CON or our event. And so if we can give a stipend to those people who kind of needed that help, it can help again towards like their hotel rooms and everything else. So this is specifically for anyone who signed up to need a mentor for their talk that was accepted. So this is people who got through our round of anonymous call for papers, they were accepted, they were paired with a mentor, and now they're coming to our event. But in a lot of cases, they do not have company sponsorship.
Yeah, I think that's actually something I'd like to see change in the in the industry is that cybersecurity or conferences don't pay their speakers, and a lot of companies will pay people to go there, but there's so much great content out there that's not like corporate sponsored, and a lot of times the topics that people focus on and do research and want to talk about, it's not like they're out there raising money to support them to be able to go present them at these events. And the topics are good enough to be accepted through the call for papers, a call for presenters. So I think that's actually really great. Like that really does fill a gap for topics and interesting research or insights that it's just kind of getting lost through like the conference sessions because they don't have like a financial sponsor or someone who's going to cover just like the minimal amounts for travel and hotel. And the conferences just do not pay security folks to speak unless you're like at the very, very top. So I think that's really great. We've got a couple more left here, the youth education and the neurodivergent SIG. Do you want to just touch base on a couple of those?
Well, youth education, we have not gotten sponsors yet for it, but if we ever do, we basically want to then take that money and funnel it either directly to a library or a school, because we've come up with like a couple hour activities to help people learn about information security at like the K through 12 level. And so we basically then, let's say we got 2 or 3 of these youth education donations, we would just turn around and say, okay, is there a teacher or a library who would like to host an event to teach kids about this, we'll give you the money for, the supplies, the advertising, everything else, because we all know teachers and libraries are underfunded. And so we want to be able to help give them money with kind of the caveat, like try and teach them either about phishing or misinformation or like AI images, all that stuff that's kind of becoming prevalent nowadays. And then neurodivergent SIG just means I will funnel that money over to Rex, who will talk to the neurodivergent folks we get together at our quiet room or at our dinner and see like, hey, what can we buy for you over the course of this year? Can we like pay for a specific speaker? Can we pay for a specific lawyer to come in? Like, what is a topic that would help all of you? And so that's just, we want to generate either a recording or writing or something that people in our community want and that we can get from a experienced professional. But not all experienced professionals have the ability to just donate their time. And so this would potentially be us, hunting down somebody and being like, we can pay you for your presentation on this topic because this is a topic our community really would like to hear about.
That's great. Again, I think that the kind of attitude towards all of this is one of valuing people's knowledge and information and not asking people to give it away, but like having that. But in us valuing those information, that means that we need to appeal to you, our potential future financial sponsors, to support us. So we've just gone over a couple different ways you can support us with year-round sponsorship, with specific event activity sponsorship, and also with specific event sponsorship. Let's see. Let's go
Early
through some
bird discount is sadly gone. Y'all
Yes.
missed that. But if you sign up for our newsletter, you will find out as soon as we start the 2026 fundraising, and you can get the early bird then.
And if you sponsor now, you can come back as a returning sponsor. You can always come in at a level that hits your budget for this year. And then if you want to move up to a higher level in the future, you can definitely take advantage of the returning sponsor and the early bird sponsor. And wait, did I understand you can like stack these two? Is that
Yes,
right? So you could
you
potentially get like
absolutely can.
25% off 2026 if you act now.
And that
Awesome.
is definitely what a bunch of people do. And we are so happy. For people who don't know, we have a storage unit, we have monthly costs. And so by sponsoring us early, and by early, I mean like November, December of the year before the event, you help us pay our storage unit, you help us pay our QuickBooks Online and all of those other fees.
Because we are a legit nonprofit and we have all those overhead business fees as well. Okay, we talked about the scholarship program. There's a little bit more information. Maybe we can talk a little bit about who attends. I know we're expecting maybe like 400 this year. You had 400 last year.
Yep. And I mean, the spread varies obviously year over year, but about a third of the people identified as neurodiverse, 19% said that they had one or more disabilities, and about a quarter of them were somewhere in the LGBTQIA spectrum. And so we do, have a bunch of, I guess, people that when you look around other events, it might be harder to find, but we're all kind of concentrated at the Diana Initiative. And pretty much when you come hang out in our area of DEF CON, I expect the neurodiverse numbers to be a little bit higher in the quiet room, and I expect the disability numbers to be higher, for example, in the other content room, because we're going to be doing some birds of a feather around disability stuff. So, it'll obviously vary, but this is all self-reported. We do not give out people's email addresses. This is cybersecurity. People do not put up with that nonsense. So
Great. Some demographics where folks are at the gender and career level and age. If you're interested in getting more detail or talking about this for your sponsorships, get in touch with us. And we kind of went over the history already. And I guess I'll just make my final pitch to those of you watching that, again, we're really trying to create a welcoming opportunity for folks during Hacker Summer Week and all year round. In order to do that, we do need your support. we're already well on track. We've raised a third of the amount that we need. And if you can, I'd like to invite you to join us at any level that you feel you can join. And Nicole, Rex, any kind of last minute final words you want to share?
I think just, if you don't know if you belong anywhere at cybersecurity, you certainly belong with us. And the other thing is we have a lot of really strong community partner ties. So I don't expect you to be, our key demographic forever. We may find that, we're going to pair you off with WISP because you're really into privacy. And so we're a part of the ecosystem and we collaborate with a lot of other groups. And so our goal is to make the entire industry stronger. And so if you are able to donate money, donate time, or if you are a specific community, such as there's a group called Neurodiverse Hackers, which reached out to us this year, we would love to partner with you because we're going to be stronger together.
It's hard to follow all that, but I agree obviously with everything that Nicole said. But the same time is it's sponsorship does have its benefits. And so I would encourage you to make an investment because this is an organization that is not standing alone. It's tied to other parts of the security community. They're tied to RSA, to Black Hat, to DEF CON. We've talked about other groups, Women in Cyber, and a lot of other folks are coming together. And the Diana Initiative is a way to find out who they are and help folks become involved in these other organizations and further their career.
Well said, Rex, Nicole. Thank you for sticking through us, watching this. If you're ready to take the leap, email us at sponsors@dianainitiative.org, and I'll be waiting for your email in my email inbox. Please get in touch with us if you have any questions or want to get involved further. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.